Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to the Her Soulful Success podcast. I am Deanna Ricciotti, certified coach of NLP, certified timeline therapy practitioner, business mentor, and the girl who went from corporate climbing to solopreneur, replacing her full-time income working part-time hours in her business while juggling mum life. But you, my friend, can call me D, because I know quite literally that we're going to become business besties. This space is for you to escape into, away from the crazy hustle in your business and life, to get your weekly mindset fix, your business boost, your realignment with the highest and best version of yourself, and your dose of self-development. All ingredients that I believe for a soulfully successful business, where abundance and fulfillment go hand in hand. Whether you're doing the 9-to-5 grind and dreaming about there being something more out there for you, whether you're wanting to explode your side hustle, or you are already a business owner feeling maybe a little lost, stuck, or overwhelmed, this podcast is designed to speak to your soul. So without further ado, let's jump into this week's podcast and level up your mindset so that you can begin living your best life. This podcast is brought to you by the Soulfully Successful Elite Mentorship, a program where you get to work closely with me to start and scale your profitable online business while being part of a tight-knit sisterhood of like-minded CEOs who will support and cheer you on, where you will learn how to create more abundance in your life by working less, and where you get to design a lifestyle, not just a business. This program currently comes with a bonus $2,000 breakthrough package for free. To apply and reserve a spot, head on over to the link in the show notes. Hey business bestie, this is episode 16 of the Her Soulful Success podcast. I am your host Deanna Ricciotti, and I'm going to do something a little bit funky with you guys today. Or you might think it's more like a little bit cheesy, but hey, if you know me, I am all about the cheese. So here it goes. I'm sitting here thinking, hey, it's hump day for you guys. And hump day, I don't know about you, but hump day can feel a little bit flat sometimes for me. Like that middle of the week feeling, you might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed, a little bit maybe lonely, particularly if you're a soulpreneur doing it all yourself, trying to juggle all of the hats while working out all of the tech, all from your home office. And I thought, what is the best way that I know how to lift my spirits and to just channel that inner fierce boss babe? And I couldn't think of a better way than to play my favorite female empowerment jam. So here it goes. I'm going to just click play here, and you might hear a bit of Fighter playing in the background, a bit of Christina Aguilera. Yes, and I thought you guys would also have some freaking awesome jams that you sing to, maybe perhaps in your car, on the way to drop off and pick up, or on the way to your full-time grind. Or maybe you've got that favorite song that you love to just belt out in the shower, or maybe while you're singing into a hairbrush, channeling your inner Britney Spears Crossroads vibe. Okay, that might just be so telling of my age right now. But I want to hear it, guys. I thought, why don't we start each Her Soulful Success podcast episode with your favorite jam? Why not? I want to hear it. So I want you to tag me. I want you to tag me with your favorite song. I want you to DM me. I want to hear it. Consider me your new request line. But for now, come on, let's get into Fighter, guys. And that hairbrush. Or maybe that hairspray, whatever you sing into. Oh, I see a remote control. Come on, grab it. If you're in the car, maybe just, turn this up a little bit. Yes. That to-do list won't break me today. Okay, guys, I told you it was going to be a little bit cheesy, but I thoroughly enjoyed that, I'm not going to lie. Let's get into this episode now, shall we? I have a question for you guys. I want to know, do you reach for a bucket when it's time for you to ask for a sale? Have you built the rapport, asked all the right questions to ensure you're providing the right solution to your customer built the know, the like, the trust, and your client is so ready and they're there. They're like, okay, give me all of the things you are selling, girl. And they say to you, how much? And in that moment, you just freeze. Does your stomach churn and your voice turn shaky? Do you quietly mumble the price? And before the client even has a chance or a moment to speak, you begin to just word vomit. Why it costs so much, how you can discount it further. It's totally okay if they don't even need it. Or even worse, that you totally just understand that they are not ready to buy. Oh, cringe-worthy stuff. But it happens all of the time. What is worse was that while you were busy trying to talk your client into the purchase, you talk them out of it. And it totally scared them away with your desperado energy. I hate that icky feeling. And you just feel so disappointed in yourself after. So why did you turn into a complete weirdo the moment it was time to talk money? That's what we're going to talk about today on this episode. I want you guys to know that there are so many surface level reasons. But after working with so many women on their sales and money blocks, it always came down to one particular limiting belief that I want to address in this episode today. And that was that they simply just did not feel worthy or enough. What is the limiting belief? It is a belief that limits your behavior, literally. Okay? It is usually not a belief that you are even conscious of, meaning like you don't even realize that you really have it. But it usually is a belief that you took on as a child and then throughout your life found evidence of it. This is what we do. So we basically acquire our model of the world. We download our belief system from our environment, from our parents, from the media, just as children in the environment that we grew up in. And then what our brain does is we like to just confirm what we believe. So we look for evidence of it. So your beliefs create the foundation of how you're going to perceive the rest of your life and the meanings you're going to make about yourself, about people, and about life in general. So as children, we begin to download these beliefs from the world around us, and then these beliefs can be either empowering, and sometimes they can be disempowering. And this is what a limiting belief is. It's a disempowering belief. And this is how we form our model of the world, a way in which we view life, ourselves, and others. So what has any of this have to do with how we sell? Under all of that nervous energy, the belief of not being enough or feeling unworthy will trigger some of the following thought patterns, which will cause that terrible emotion of fear to rise up and then trigger very strange behaviors, such as just wanting to run the frick away from the situation, from choking on your words or word vomiting because you just can't get your words out in the situation. So some of the thought patterns that you might have just before you start talking shop and start talking about the money is, am I asking for too much? Oh God, am I asking for too much? All of a sudden, or you're just not super confident about the price. Another one might be, I would never spend this much on myself, so why would they? Okay, if you wouldn't invest this money on yourself, or if you knew a time that you wouldn't have, then you would be thinking, why would they, right? Why would anyone want to buy from me? This is a big one. Like, comparisonitis is a thing, guys. It's a chronic illness in society today. That person there, good for them. They are worth all of the success. But me, why would anyone buy from me? What makes me so special? They are going to think I am greedy or money hungry. That's another one. Okay. Do I sound too salesy? I don't want to sound too salesy. Ugh, I don't want to sound like that car salesman. I don't want to sound like I am forcing something down their throats. I don't want them to not like me. All of that stuff really comes up and it's horrible. So does this all sound familiar? I bet it does, because every single woman that I have worked with has had something like this come up for them. I bet you're like, wow, girl, you must be some kind of mind reader. And I assure you that I am not a mind reader. I have just experienced the same chit chat in my mind. I'm not talking from any kind of pedestal. I never do. Everything I teach is something that I have overcome and have done a lot of inner work on myself. So from the days I used to sell clothes in a retail store to the days I used to sell gas and electricity in my corporate job, until I got really good at managing that inner chit chat and not allowing it to stop me from closing the sale to meet my KPIs. And I want you to just like hone in on me saying, learn to manage it. I never actually could completely, and probably never will completely, eliminate that chit chat from happening. Like those thought patterns, they're probably going to show up for me for the rest of my life, but I know how to manage them. I know how to overcome them. I know how to act in spite of them and close a sale. So I got so good at it that I ended up teaching and coaching it to other agents as I got promoted to team leader in sales, but it was never the strategy or the sales process alone that truly determined whether there would be a closed sale or not. It was more than that. In corporate and in business, the strategies for closing a sale are very similar. Okay, if you have ever worked in corporate, you will have been taught some sort of model that included things like using the client's first name to build connection, asking the client open-ended questions to get an understanding of the problems so that you can really tailor a solution and explain the features and benefits of your product. You'd be asked to chat more casually to build rapport with your clients, maybe about their cats, their dogs, or their hobbies to build rapport, and then ensure you have prepared for any objections. So I remember just watching sales agents from a management position, and one of them was myself before I became a manager. We learned these processes off by heart. Like we would spend hours coaching these processes, exactly what to do. We had models, we had scripts that you could read from. It was all there. It was all there. But when it came time to execute, agents would just freak the heck out. Just freak out. Okay? Like it just wouldn't happen. And I watch agents be performance managed, coached over and over. And one thing was always in common. It was not knowing what to do that was the problem. It was the overbearing discomfort that was felt doing it. I remember sitting, and we used to call it double jacking with agents in the call center, as in like I would pop my headphones in and listen in on the conversation. And again, all the rapport was there. All of the open-ended questions were asked. There was great rapport between my agent and the client on the other side of the phone. And honestly, they at times sounded like they would sell their firstborn child to one of my agents. But it was time. Like it was time for them to ask for the big sale. And I would look at the agent and look back at the screen, look back at the agent, and the agent would just look at me and go, you could just see it in their eyes, like, I can't do this. And you would just go, what? Like, why? Just go ahead and ask for the sale. So I really started to, post working in that environment and becoming a business coach, I really wanted to learn and find out what was it really that was stopping, what stops people in general when all environments ask for the sale and close the sale. I soon realized if anything was going to change with my ability to sell, it was going to have to take inner work and ask myself some really high quality questions. Like, why was I so afraid to ask this person open-ended questions? And the answer was because I didn't want them to think I was prying or that I was annoying. Or another question would be like, why was I so afraid to ask for the sale? And why were these agents so afraid? And the answer was because we were all afraid of feeling rejected. Then I said, why couldn't I handle that objection? And you know what the answer was? Because I hadn't had to overcome that objection within myself. Now let's take this a little bit deeper. Let's get deeper, guys. So what if someone did think you were annoying? What if someone did reject you? What if all that you were fearing in that situation would actually be true? What would you make that mean? Okay, this is one of my favorite questions I ask my clients. What we're afraid of, if it really did happen, what would it mean? What would happen? What would be the worst case scenario? Most often, we create negative meanings about ourselves, and that really stems from that deep inner limiting belief of not enoughness. I swear, not enoughness is another chronic illness in society today. Think about it. If at your core you truly believed that you were 100% worthy of success and you were enough just the way you are, would you care if someone found you annoying or rejected you? Nope. Maybe you would care a little because it's human nature to, but you wouldn't make it mean anything negative about yourself. If you believed in yourself, you would probably just think that person wasn't ready yet or bad luck for them for missing out. Now let's address the objection handling. It does not matter how well prepared for the possible objections you may be. If you have the same objections that your client does, how can you possibly overcome them in a conversation? In business, I see this come up for women who never want to invest in themselves or spend on themselves because they believe that they don't have the money or they have to ask their partners. And all of that is totally okay. But when you don't invest in yourself, then how can you ask someone else to? You can't. You can, but the energy behind you asking will be that of scarcity, lack, and uncertainty. And look, this might be triggering for some. You might be going, look, if you're talking to me, are you talking to me right now? Are you talking to me? It's something that I have overcome myself, okay? So even if the person you were selling to does invest in themselves, your uncertainty that you'll radiate when talking about your detox tea, your digital program or meal plan will leave your potential client thinking, but do you even like your products? Okay? So why do we have these objections again? If we are choosing not to invest in ourselves, then once again, it's probably going to come down to the belief that we are unworthy of the investment. Another reason might be that we don't believe the investment will have a great return. And as in, we don't believe in the product or service, or the product or service that we have is enough. So you really got to hone in on yourself and think, am I asking my potential client here to do something that I wouldn't do? Are you showing up in the world the way you are asking your client to show up in the world? Okay? Would you buy the shit out of your own product? Put it that way. Or is there something that you know that you need in your life that you're not investing in right now because you're basically, creating the same objections as they are with you? Or is it that you don't believe in your product or service enough? Now, that is a conversation we will table and perhaps address in another podcast because there are so many avenues you can go down to if that is where you're sitting at. So I'm not saying you need to be ready to spend all of your money on yourself, on all of the things either, but you do need to be prioritizing what it is that you are selling to others in your life in order to ask them to prioritize it in theirs. Otherwise, you are not coming from a place of service or solution, which is why you are in the business that you're in. And if you're not, then you're not in the right business. So basically, if I can just make this really simple, do not sell lipsticks if you do not prioritize lipsticks in your life. Do not sell a digital course on growing organic vegetables if you don't grow organic vegetables yourself or prioritize organic food. Because if you are not passionate, then you will have your own objections about purchasing what you are selling. And it doesn't matter how amazing your product is, that energy is going to be met with a bunch of objections from your potential client. So in summary, we want to be addressing our own self-worth and ensuring we have overcome our own objections when it comes to investing in ourselves. See, the trend with a lot of the coaching that I do on why it's empowering is the answers are within yourself. Okay, don't ever look externally for the problems and the solutions. It's all within yourself. And that's amazing. If there is something that you need to work on, you can work on it, girl. Like, you're empowered to change. You're empowered to overcome that obstacle that you're facing in your business. Now, I hear you saying, Queen, I can hear you going, but how do I do this? How do I overcome my own objections? How do I overcome my own self-worth? And it's okay. Let me fix up your crown. I got you. Step one is always to get really honest with yourself and figure out where you lack self-worth, where it stems from. Like, where and when did you learn you're unworthy of abundance or success yourself? Where did you see that being affirmed in your life? Then clear it out. Sometimes just becoming consciously aware of where you downloaded and learned that particular belief might be enough. It might be enough for you to realize and see that event in your life differently, perhaps change the meaning you gave to it. I always love to tell my clients it's a way that you can go back to that moment in your life, and it's your opportunity to reparent yourself. What would you tell that younger version of you? Think about times you specifically learned that you're unworthy of success or abundance. Did you hear things like, you can't have that because money doesn't come easy to this family? Or you could never do something like that. If you heard things like that and a particular younger age, you probably downloaded them as truth. You probably have them sitting there in your subconscious mind as well and deprogrammed conditioning that runs a lot of your life on autopilot today. So go back there, find those moments and reparent that inner child of yours. There is evidence in the world that shows that, hey, money can come easily to people. You can see it, right? The Kardashians, for one. Okay, no, those girls work really hard, okay? But you could never do something like that. There's evidence in your life of things that you thought that you could never do, that you have done. So just find proof of the opposite to what you believe in. Step 2, overcome your own objections. So instead of practicing objection handling on your clients, practice it on yourself. What we used to do in corporate in practice is practice actually selling and objection handling with our colleagues. It was a learnt skill, guys. Sales can be learnt. You know, like you're not born out of the womb being a savvy sales woman, okay? Like it's a learnt skill. Maybe you were. Like thinking about that cartoon now. Was that Boss Baby on Netflix? He would have been born with some awesome sales superpowers, but most of us probably weren't, okay? But it's a skill that we've learned. So we were meant to stuff up. We're meant to suck. We were meant to have those shaky, awkward conversations. But the question here is, why do we have to have them with our potential clients? It does not have to be, guys. Find a girlfriend, a business bestie, or a business coach to practice with. Okay, you don't have to practice on your potential clients. Step 3 is feel the freaking passion. And if you don't, you're in the wrong business. Sometimes I work with women who are holding on desperately to a business they are no longer even wanting to play in or have any desire to work in. And what they finally realize is that they are not being true to themselves. They are not being authentic in the marketing and the selling because they are coming from a place of force. And here is your permission slip to pivot, to unchain yourself. You can do this again. If you've created a business from the ground up before, you can do it again, but do it doing something you actually love. Doing something you actually love. Selling a product or service that you're passionate about. This is so freaking important. Something that is in alignment with your values. Something that you can sell from a heart-centered place. Not trying to convince your client of something you are still yet to convince yourself of. In order to sell authentically and to avoid the weird and the awkward energy, you have to have full certainty and absolutely no objections yourself towards purchasing your own product. So how are you feeling, girlfriend? I want to check in. Are you feeling like your head is spinning? Or are you ready to embrace selling minus the urge to set yourself on fire and jump out of the window when it's time to talk cash? Let me know. Once again, DM me, leave some feedback. I want to hear from you guys. I love talking to my audience. Tag me in your story, tag me in your feed posts. Tell me what you want to know more about sales. I want to help you. But if you are wanting more tools and to add some more tools to your sales toolbox and you are seriously ready to accelerate sales in your business, then you are going to want to join my free business bootcamp. Kicking off on the 19th, it's going to be a 3-day masterclass series designed to help you step into a confident sales queen that I know that you are and never have another cringe-worthy moment with a potential client. If this sounds like the time that you need in your life, then go to the link in my bio to register. Guys, you don't want to miss out. I cannot wait to hang out with you. But for now, I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to let you go. Enjoy the rest of your week. Let me know how you liked this episode. If you have loved it, please rate, share, and all of the things. I absolutely loved hanging out with you guys. Thank you so much for listening in, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Hey business bestie, thank you so much for choosing to tune into the Her Soulful Success podcast. Don't forget to check out the show notes for all of the links, including my private Facebook group community, Passion to Profit, where I share even more free content, freebies, and live events for the ambitious business babe. If you loved what you heard today, you're going to love what I have in store for you. Everything from creating beautiful brandy, money, mindset, and wealth, nutrition for optimal energy and mood, to energy healing and anxiety management. I got you. I am covering all of the things to support you on your journey to soulful success. So that you don't miss out on future episodes, don't forget to click subscribe and share the podcast with your tribe. If you share it on your socials, don't forget to tag me so that I can say hi and thank you personally.